For now, what I wanted to do is just give you the walkthrough of how this works. And the plugin is now activated. I don't think it was last week. So you should be able to see it down on the left here. It's called Classifieds Reverse Pub, okay? So if you click on that, I'm just going to show you the export step first and show you like the really cool part on how it all lays it all out in the template. But then we'll go back and talk about like how this is gonna have to work on the website end, because there's just some things to kind of sort through there, just so that it does work perfectly when we lay it out.
Okay.
So, but we do have a lot of ads in there already, so we got a lot to work with. So what you'll do here, basically, the last paper we worked with this on, they had this process where, and I'm sure you're very similar, like 2 days before print is the deadline for getting an ad in the paper, something like that, right?
Okay.
Let's just say, yeah, whatever it is, you have a deadline, and then what you can do is come in here, and as long as the ads have been put into the website by that deadline, they will basically be scheduled or published before the print date. So the way that we imagine this working is you come in here and say, all right, I'm laying out, let's just pretend it's the 827 edition. I'm laying this out. So give me all the ads that are on the website and live up to this date, basically.
Okay.
That's the idea. So it's just like, keep it simple, just put in the print date, and then you say generate classifieds. And there's a bunch of settings in here that we can talk about in more detail, but really I don't think we need to today. Let's just look at how it will work eventually.
Okay.
And those should be pretty much right, but you might want to tweak them a little bit. Okay, so here's the ads, and it's just like a ton of stuff in here. So I didn't realize that your classified section was this active on the site.
So we are already posting our ads as they're received.
Right. That's great.
They go online as soon as they're placed by the customer, and we also upload in batches, like each day, whatever has been received that day, like manually or through phone calls or whatever. So we're putting them on already.
Wow. Well, yes. You're all set up. And then what we can do to make it even better maybe would be to set up a form, and then people can just pay for it right on the site.
Which we have. You
already have? Okay, sorry. I was not aware. Okay, yeah. Great. So
I'm already thinking, I know one of our questions was because of the way we have to enter them online, in order for them to stay long enough, we have a question about those dates and then how.
Okay.
There's some of that that's going to come up in question.
Sure.
So yeah, we're already we have all of that going for us.
Wow.
We're ready. We're ready.
You are ready. Yeah, you're pretty much ready. I think I can show you one thing on the classified ad itself on the website that will help with the staying online longer. But let me just get this export done and just get it into InDesign really quick, and then we'll circle back to that. So wow, we've got tons of ads. So you're going to do this. You're going to click that button, and this is just a preview of what's in there, and it's just kind of like a quick check. Okay, we have something published up to this date. So then you scroll all the way down to the bottom to actually get the XML. That's down here. All right, and then you download it, and it's going to be very similar to the editorial. It's going to come down in a zip folder like that. You just double click to unpack it. And then within it, same as editorial, we've got a folder of images and then this XML file, okay? Now, it would be good to probably, I think, so if you just sent us the front page, maybe after this, if you could send us the classified page, that would be interesting, because then we could play around with it too. But I have a feeling you're going to be able to figure it out yourself. But if I go to File, Import XML, and then go to, you just look for under Downloads, should be under Classified, so you just alphabetical, and then it'll have that date. So I did a test earlier, so it has a 1 next to it, but yeah, normally it would just say that. Then again, you can't choose any of the images, so it's really easy. You just find that XML, the only thing you can select in there. Okay, I'm gonna keep merging as always. I don't see any reason to not merge. And then we've got everything in here, and it's just, you can't really tell what's what, but it shouldn't be necessary because you can just grab this root and then drag it in.
Okay, good.
Okay, and there's that. Now, you're not going to actually have to do this every time because once we have the template.
Yeah, we have the columns already set, so we're just
exactly.
It all flows. Yeah.
Right, and then you'll just delete the root, but it will already be mapped to the page. So then you just keep importing new XML and it'll just lay it out, bam, like that. But even right now, this is still pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Boom, just one column at a time. The images are all there. Now, here's one setting that will need to be adjusted. It looks like the image width on this template is a little too wide.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a setting on the site. It's one of the settings here, one of many settings, and image width right here. So you can set that to whatever you need.
Okay.
But look, the last customer we worked with, he was like the second one to try this, and we came up with a bunch of custom fields for them. So if you need other custom fields, this is still very much like a work in progress. The paint hasn't dried yet, so we can still make modifications, but they came up with so many cool things that I'm not sure I'm necessarily using in this demonstration. There's options to do spacing between categories, just like, what are some of the other things that we did? You can include the images or not. I'm guessing you probably want to, but that page is basically just like gives you a lot of different options. And so, yeah, like one thing that I know that they worked out better is the spacing. They had it so that the category headings would be spaced out a little bit. There'd be space before and after it, and they would be in bold. So this is missing some of the formatting stuff, but that's essentially how it would work. It's the whole XML import process.
Okay, so is this all the styles and formatting and all that is part of the XML file. So there's no styles that have to match over to it in InDesign, like for example with the pre-press in our article.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
that's how this works.
That is how it works. Yeah, right. Because everything's going to be set
in here.
Like what kind? Yeah, I guess so. In terms of the styling, you're talking about like bold, the category headings or something like that.
Okay, so like right. Well, for example, now we use X tags. So I look forward to not having to use that anymore. But it is a language, so it has all of every intricate, just like HTML. It's like a language. So I've got things. The first 2 words are bolded in the classified ads. That's one thing. There's all kinds of little rules and things we have. We have a line rule. Between ads, and some of that I had already played with to figure out how I could do this manually. And I think I have some rules and things I had figured out in InDesign that I can implement in my text. So that's why there may be some of both that has to happen. But I've also got category headers. Those are specific. They're like a different font and a different structure. Yeah. But I mean, that's not they don't have to be there. I'm just looking for what can be played with, I guess.
Oh, totally.
I can play with it from here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The thing is, I don't know if this settings page is going to have all the options that you need. So I think a good place to start would be to send us the template. And if you could just put together a really quick list of some of the things you just mentioned, and then we can pass it over to James and he can make sure that we have at least an option to set all those things here. Because like, for example, the font change. I don't know if that's already in here, but I'm sure it's possible. Okay. So yeah, for right now, I think you can come in here. I mean, this should be pretty self-explanatory, but you can mess around with some of these image options, like show dates at the end of ads. I mean, there's all these like random things that like one customer needs, so we added a setting for it. But we'll probably want to add a few more for you. So that's definitely something that we're ready to do. So if you wouldn't mind just sending us like what you basically what kind of custom settings you have, and then we'll look at it, compare it with the template. And I basically we're going to just try to get it working on our end, with knowing all that we know, and because I don't want you to get frustrated coming in here and it's not working. The main thing just to keep in mind is it's probably not that you don't understand or that you're doing it wrong. It just may not be a setting yet that you're trying to get. So just make a note, like it didn't do what I thought it was going to do here, and we'll address it. Okay. Now that's pretty much the export step. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you on the ads that I think you're already doing it, because I looked at one of these ads. If I go to edit one, there is in here number of weeks to run.
Yeah.
So you are using that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is that not, you mentioned something about having it run long enough on the site. So is this not quite doing what you need?
There's something about it in order for them to run the proper amount of time. I think it's because it might have to do with the fact that we're putting them on before they go in print. So anything that is published online before it goes in print, we give them that time. It's like that's kind of free time ahead of the print edition. Their full week actually starts with the print edition.
Right. I see.
I believe that kind of will throw off, that number. So that's where the discrepancy comes in, I believe.
Okay, right. Because let's just play that out for a second. So this ad, let's say it was placed today or on Tuesday. If it was placed on Tuesday, you're going to print export today. So it would work for the first 3 weeks, but the 4th week it would have expired.
I think so.
Okay.
Yes, we have to do a little.
Yeah, a little finagling there. Okay, yeah. So, right. And for some reason, this didn't come up with the last paper. It just wasn't an issue. And I think it's probably because they have that deadline. But you have a deadline too, but you're saying you give it to them.
So we have a lot of ads that get, so we're, our edition comes out Wednesday, our deadline is Friday. We're having ads being posted any day of the week. I mean, they can go in, it doesn't matter. They go and they place their ad, but we want them to go on immediately.
Right.
So, and everything is tied to the print edition. We don't distinguish that necessarily.
Right.
They are two editions, but that's the perk, put it on here and you're going to start getting calls on it already. And, that's our perk. That's how they work together.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's good.
Delay.
Right. No, absolutely. I think that's key. I mean, to give that unique benefit to the online, but print still has its unique advantages. The fact that it's actually printed is very valuable. So, that's definitely something we'll have to work something out for. I'm not sure. Like it would just have to be something like round up to the next, published date, the next Wednesday, round the, I don't know, the expiration date, round it up to like the next Wednesday, or something. That's basically how the simplest way I can think to explain it. But yeah,
if that's something that I need to ask Erica. She's the one who actually enters all of these all the time.
Okay.
And I meant to do that. I forgot.
No problem. No, this is just an intro call. We'll definitely want to have a follow up on this and the other stuff now that we've just kind of given you the introduction. But that's something that we can adjust. But other than that, wow, you are like really set to make this pretty turnkey.
Yeah.
I think It won't be a lot of changes. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is that you've already got it as part of your process. We can make small changes to make it fit your process a little better.
Cool.
So yeah, I would just say if you could get us that list and the template today, I will watch out for it and make sure it's not missed. And then, whenever you want to touch base again, well, give us a few days to look at that and see what we can do. Look at that list, and yeah, then we'll definitely want to get together again and just go through it. But did you have a chance to mess around with the editorial export at all?
Yes. I was thinking I had sent an email, but I was thinking I made notes somewhere. But I did have some notes previous I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
How would we go about, can y'all think of a way that we could, we're very used to, and I don't see that necessarily changing, but we print our copy.
Right.
As we're producing our articles, we're printing them so that we have proofreaders, hands-on, making marks, working printed copy. So that's kind of a question in my mind, how to make that process work. Probably have to be something. I'm guessing there's going to have to be an extra step, like do a copy and paste. I don't want to get. But
better if we. So yeah, no, I hear you. I actually know a couple papers that do that too. So I mean, if you could just hit print from this page, like if we had a button over here and it just printed the text, would that work?
At least, yeah, that would be helpful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it would be one less step, so you don't copy and paste to Word.
Yeah, you have to check everything. You have to check your headline, your byline, but otherwise, your story and photo and captions, they are included in this one body, so that would be there.
Right. Well, I mean, if we were to do this, I'm sure we could print the headline. We could print the byline if there is one right under the headline. Like we could format it so that whatever is exported looks like a real article. It's not just the body, I think.
That would be helpful. Yeah, that would be excellent, actually.
Okay. For the whole article, basically just plug it into the print function. I mean, it would have some very basic structure. It'd basically just be paragraph breaks between the different elements. Yeah. I definitely think that would be possible. I mean, I know that we can print articles from the front end. You can come in here and I think it's just
even before. Okay, yeah, that's another question. So say I'm typing an article for next week's paper. What do I need to set it on at that point? I know how to post something.
Okay, wait, hold on. Sorry, I was looking at the print option. So you're saying, say that again.
So I'm working on an article that is for the next paper, so it shouldn't be online.
Right. Okay. So in that case, what I think you would do, let's see if I can do it. Let's go into the dashboard. Well, I don't know if you have any draft articles in here. You probably don't.
Probably not.
Okay. That's okay. I'll just create a quick draft.
Yeah, so what would I do at this point if it's just going to be a draft? I'm just saving it as a draft? Is that putting it into the pre-press?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. That's right. Let's do that. Let's just save it as a draft. You would put it in an edition. I didn't do that, but you would probably want to do that.
That's what it says.
Yeah. It's just save draft, and then there it is. So it is already in the CMS. So that's right.
You can do it. You can
that's the next thing. So you'd be using that a lot more, obviously.
Then you could print it.
Yeah, I think so. File, print. So, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. It has the audio articles thing in there. Maybe we can get that removed, but this actually should already work, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
So, that was also another question I had. So if I'm working on an article that's for a future issue, I'm putting it in the edition I think it's going to run in.
Right.
At that.
Absolutely.
And then I'm saving it as a draft instead of publishing it.
Exactly. Yes, okay. That's right. Yep, and we made it early on. For some reason it was set to only export live stories, but we made that change. So if you select an edition to export from reverse publishing, anything in there, including drafts, will be exported. So I mean, that is something to be aware of too. So like if you have something that's not done, it will still be exported as a draft, right? So that's something to, I guess, keep in mind. Do you think that could be an issue?
Let me see. Would it be recognizable as a draft in your...
In InDesign?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. I mean, it would definitely have to require a change, but I mean, maybe what we could do is just put, big in capitals.
But that's okay too, because we go by the print copy. Once it's ready, that comes across the desk. That's right. What tells us to go pull what we're doing in.
True. Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. And so, did you happen to? I don't even know if I showed you. Did you notice that you can export single stories at a time from this page?
Nuh-uh.
Okay, so you can also do that. It's not. I mean, I like it doing it this way because it just gives you that control, but it's just going to give you a bulk export because it doesn't. You can do more than one story at a time.
Yeah.
But so that would be one way to do it, piecemeal. So you might end up going that way, but the other way would always be to just use that edition export, reverse publish, and go here, and then you just the titles, like you just said, these titles are done. So let's export the whole edition and just lay out those titles. You got those two, those edited pages in front of you. I think that could work. Actually, pretty smooth. You think?
I think so. Yeah.
And if not, I think that draft idea is actually a really good one. I'm just going to see, can we recognize drafts in InDesign or just tag them? And what I'm picturing is it just says like in caps, draft, and then title.
Yeah, that's cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let me run that by James. That shouldn't be that difficult. Okay, and I see you got your paragraph styles in here, so you've been playing with that. Looks good. Okay. Any other issues that you came across?
Another question. So how do I make sure this? So we have another thing. Okay, so there could be some copy that we produce thinking it would make it into that edition, and it doesn't. So then I need to make a step in there before we go turn them on, because I'm sure there's a step that you publish, they actually get published online at some point. Right. And
well, you would schedule, I think, in most cases. You could always have it scheduled. Or you could just not schedule it, and then you could come in and say, just show me the drafts from this edition, and then you could just make them go live individually. Right? Okay. So if I just said, I wouldn't even need to choose an edition.
So that's a couple things. So I would have to, for one, before I post them online, I need to go and move them to a different edition or get rid of them if we didn't use them.
Right. If it was spilled over.
Which I was already thinking we would have to do. And then the next step, there should be some function to be able to just turn them on, to post them online.
Right. So, yeah. And I think I don't know if there's a way to do them in bulk. It would be cool if I could just say filter draft and then say publish, everything checked. But what you can definitely do right now is say quick edit on each one and just change the status here and just go down one by one. But it would be nice to have both options. So you can either do it like really specific stories go live, or let's just do all the drafts right now. You think you need the latter more? You would more likely just bulk?
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
Yeah. Bulk,
that sounds like a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stories.
Right. Sure. I mean, it's an entire edition, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what about the scheduling thing? Any interest in that?
How does that work?
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's see. If I go back to this story, then when you're writing the article and it's done and you've exported it or you printed it, then you could just say schedule it to publish on the print date and time. And so if it's an edition that ended up not getting, or if it's a story that ended up not getting in this edition, you'd have to come back and change this because it'll just publish, it'll go ahead and publish. But if I save this draft to publish on September 9th or whatever, then it's now scheduled, it's on the countdown, and it will go live at that time.
It's actually not scheduled until you hit the blue button.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't want to do that for the test, though. But yeah, that's right. Thank you, Terry.
What I don't like about that is it feels complicated for all the people I'm going to have involved, having to be in the system and doing and looking at this.
Right. Okay.
I don't know.
No, that's good feedback. That makes sense.
The very common mistakes that are made.
Right.
I'm
right.
Just not crazy about that.
Right. No, I hear you totally. So you just think it'd be better to just say, never schedule anything. I will do the publishing. Just create drafts. Period.
Well, the more simple I could make it for them, yes.
Yeah.
The more things we have to go and we have to think about a date and
you got to write extra things to remember. Yeah. I hear you.
I'm worried about some of that stuff.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I really want to give this as many options as possible. So, if you want to do it your way, or maybe if it's a smaller team, it's more realistic to have everyone schedule stuff, but with a big team, then you just want one person doing all the scheduling, which is not really scheduling, it's just publishing in bulk. Mm-hmm. So that, I like that option. Let me look into that. Those two things I think could be very valuable. Having the draft tag in InDesign and then a bulk publish option. So it would basically, I kind of showed you earlier, but the process would be you just go to the articles list, filter by drafts, and then you should be able to just, let's just do that here. Filter again, you choose the edition at the same time, and then just check that box at the top. And then hopefully we can just add a publish option to that. So
that's been one of the factors for me to be leery of moving to this system. Was how many details and features that actually do exist from the standpoint of I need people just typing their stuff, like getting their copy in there, like in a more simplified way.
Right.
That's what scared me off for longer from going.
Right. So I know.
Things,
Yep. I know you've been exploring this for a while, and we've talked about it on and off. So, do you think that if we could get these things in place, then people would literally just have to come in here? They'd say add new. They'd write their story. They'd have to give it a category. Mm-hmm. And an edition, a category and an edition.
Yeah.
I don't know how much simpler we can really get than that.
That I'm liking, but once
cool.
The published thing scares me, So
sure, I hear you. No, it's good to have that sense because I think, I'm all about keeping it simple. Okay, so let me look into those two options. I really like those. I'm thinking they'll be pretty simple, but I gotta always check with James. I never really know.
Can you go back in one more time on the test? Yes. Can you open that again? Look at it. Okay, so you said they type their stuff, they do all that. They're going to have to, they'll save draft. They're going to give it a date, right? They do have to position, right? That's scrolling down more to the right, isn't it?
Yes, right.
Okay, the category and then the.
And then the edition date. Yeah, this is something that you're not used to using. So we can move these things up.
We're used to, Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would say just
choose the date you're working on and hit add, and then.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You do have to hit add. You choose. It's a little deceptive because you choose it and it pops in there, but you still got to hit add and make sure that you have that little X box there.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and I would say like when you're training people, or we can help with the training here too. So if we jump on a call, we'll just say everyone log into the site and move your additions and your categories up to the very top, because those are the only two things you're going to have to set. So they don't have to be looking all over the place and worrying about stuff.
Yeah.
And then no edition date, just save it as a draft. So yeah, there is actually a feature that we have that will remind them to set the edition date, but that only will remind them when they go to publish it. So maybe we can make it so that it reminds them when they set the draft too. That might, it would definitely drive their behavior, because the way it's set up now, there's no way to get around that message without setting the date. So I'm kind of curious about that too. Can we force them to set date and category? Why not, right?
Sure.
When save draft.
That's helpful.
That would be cool. Yeah. And that would just be an option we can turn on and off on any site, because I think people that aren't doing reverse publishing might not need that. So yeah, okay. Anything else come to mind right now? This is gold, the stuff that you're giving me here. This is really, really good features. I like them.
I remember that when I was playing with the InDesign file, I was not liking how smart it was, that it wouldn't let me move my headline to another box because I put it in the wrong place, and I kind of got mixed up a little bit. So I was like, I don't need it to be that smart,
Right. Well, I think in my experience, you can move it to another box if you pull it again from the root. Does that not happen for you?
When I tried to put something into one of my text boxes, it recognized that I had already put it somewhere on the page.
Right.
And even if I had deleted it from that text box, I think it was still telling me that.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, I have seen that. Right. So if you delete it from the text box, then it still has this memory of it being there. So yeah, instead of deleting, could you just go back to where you pulled it from the root folder, that headline, let's say it's a headline, and you dragged it in the first time and you placed it in the one box. Rather than deleting and trying to place it again, could you just go back to the root and drag it in again? And then it should just switch. It should just go to the new box and it will remove it from the first one. But I don't know if it's really the same as deleting. Okay. Does that make sense? It'd be better if I could show you.
I feel like it wouldn't let me do.
Really? Okay. I don't know if I have any other. Oh, I do have this edition here. Hopefully this will work. Let's just see if I can show you a quick thing what I'm talking about. So we've got a couple boxes here. Let's see. We've got this box and this box. Let's say I take my headline from this first one, put it in this first box. You're right. If I were to try to delete that, it would mess it up. Now, instead, if I just go back to the root folder and drag the title in again, then it just moves it.
Oh.
Okay. And then that other box is free for other things. So I can put the body in there now.
So if I just deleted the text,
No, it's not delete though. That's the mistake. That's what I did too. And it doesn't work. So if I were to drag this in and try to delete that, it messes it up.
It's like, it messes it up. Okay.
Right. So instead of deleting, just think never delete, just replace.
Okay.
And drag it in again. So go back to that root folder and grab that same title, and you can just keep moving this around, back and forth, other boxes, and it's gonna remove whatever tag there was on that first box. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Give that a try. See if it works. Just think, not delete, always replace. Not like replace it. Place it in another box from the original root folder. that should work for you. If I do the same thing for the body, any element, I could put the body there, or I could go back and drag it again to this box, and it just takes it out of the first one, puts in the second.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a little quirk in InDesign that I noticed too. Okay, anything else like that?
I can't think of it. Those are the main things, I think.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. Yeah, and if you notice those things in the meantime, just shoot off an email to me, and if you could copy ops, then we hopefully can address these things over the course of the week. But also, it's fine if we just do it on these calls if you just want to talk it out. But I just don't want you to ever hesitate to just send those little bugs in, or whatever. It just doesn't make sense, and hopefully we can just address it. No, this is great. I think we've got a bunch of things on our plate. So I will look for that list from you, but I'm gonna get James on these modifications to the publishing and the draft status. That stuff, I really like those additions. So I don't know if he'll be able to knock them off this week, but this is something that within a couple of weeks, I'm sure we could have those changes in.
Right.
Yeah. Now I know you're not going to do anything before you're ready, but do you have any type of a goal, like timeline for when you want this done, or is it just when it's ready? When you feel
I feel like maybe we could look at it in September. I need to get through our comeback section. It's really huge. It's coming out on the 9th. So
awesome.
That's been something that's been requiring more attention.
Okay.
And I think that this could be, because I was able to dabble with it a little bit whenever that was we talked. I guess that was last week. And then stuff in between. So that's the big thing that's weighing on me right now.
Right. Okay. Got it.
So I'll try to look at it a little bit more here and there. And it feels like it's closer.
Yep. Yeah, I think it is getting closer, but just keep in mind that we're more than happy to make modifications. Most of these things that we talked about today should be possible, and it's still kind of a beta feature. So don't hesitate to make suggestions. We're definitely open to hearing them, and honestly, most of them we'll probably be able to do, I would say. I mean, I'm kind of amazed by what we've been able to do already. It's more than I thought. Like with that classified section, I didn't think it was going to work like that. Just boom, all laid out. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Sounds good, Kristen. I really appreciate this feedback. This is fantastic. Anything else you want to go through right now?
Nope. And I think I'm out of time.
You're out of time. All right. You got to go live. All right. Have a good show. I'll tune in and say hello.
Thank you. Cool.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye, Kristen.